a very burn victory Monday pod. We are back. We are the Dallas Beer Guardians. I am your host, Vice President Dennis, here with El Capitan, Marcus himself, the President, El Jefe, and Director at Large, Hubertito. We are the Dallas Beer Guardians, and we are back. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a double match week, a draw in San Jose, and a big home win this Saturday. We're in the burn gear. We got a little TIFO to talk about. We got some colorways to talk about. And then we're going to shoot over to Around the Grounds. And Marcus is going to take us through some USL stuff. We're going to talk multi-club ownership. We got a jam-packed show. So lock in, stick with us. If this is your first time listening, check us out on socials at Dallas Beer Guardians on everything. You can find this on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. We are on X. We are on Facebook. We are on Meta. We are on Instagram. That's a lot of words. What do you guys have to say?
Yeah. Also, sign up for the newsletter on DallasGuardians.com. Any way you can contact us, the newsletter, sign up with your email and phone number. We won't spam you too much, but that's a way for us to reach out to you and activate you and let you know what we're doing on a week to week. Like we had a midweek joint watch party with El Matador and FC Dallas, and the numbers were good. And I heard someone finally had the chicken fried steak, so we made it work.
It was Hubert. It was Hubert.
Was it Hubert? There we go.
I'll give you a review later if you want.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Special chicken fried steak review segment coming up next.
Coming soon, yeah, for sure. But yeah, gentlemen, how was your weekend? How's your energy today? How are we doing?
I am ready to Sam Sarver my way through a friggin' wall. That's where I'm at. Okay.
Honestly, yeah. Has anybody gotten more goodwill in the last week than Sam Sarver for this team? Just like the love. There were people who I know that don't even watch this team, but they happen to catch that game that were like, it's my favorite player.
I'm not gonna lie. You know what's sad about this? I was watching him, and the club put up a whole post about how he traveled from North Texas to come to this game, and maybe it's a hair color, but I just see Paxton Jr. and I'm just crying on the inside.
Down to the hairline. Down to that hairline.
The fact that you're balding at 19 is crazy, but I'm just hopefully
the
he's
fact
not.
That you look like a middle-aged boxer from the Bronx or something. I don't know. It looks like he drinks a six-pack to go to bed.
Hey, that's our Lord and Sarver.
And no shame there, Sarver. Okay, I'm not actually trying to talk trash here, but
that's our Lord and Sarver.
Yeah.
Our Lord and Sarver.
Yeah. If we compare
I
to
think
Paxton,
I think he's a bit religious. He might not like that we're calling him that.
Then he can come tell us. I'm just here to show love.
No, you do you.
he brought like the energy. He brought like he was hyping up the crowd like peak John Cena, like just hyping up the crowd.
I think
right?
The first comparison I heard was somebody comparing it to WWE when he got up and just come on. I think he dropped an F-bomb. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, let's go, man. That's came over, banged the drum afterwards, along with several guys. But
did you listen to him in the post-game show?
Yes.
Oh, he straight up shouted out the crowd. It was nice.
Absolutely incredible.
Crazy what a win does, though, for the vibes, right? Like,
absolutely. Let's back it up a little bit, though. Let's go Wednesday. We started out Wednesday, very late.
Yeah, did you guys also forget that Wednesday happened after the game?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the best part of Wednesday was like hanging out with you guys and hanging out with Kenny Cooper, seeing the new merch drop. The burn kit, the Adidas Archive collection is absolutely friggin' gorgeous. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We don't have a picture ready. It's fine. But the colorway is old school burn. This is the hat. This is one of the hats that goes along with the collection that I'm wearing right now. But absolutely badass. But they had some merch for sale. We had probably you were there, Justin. Probably about 50, 60 people in that room upstairs.
Yeah, definitely. We have a group picture from that too, if we want to share that at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been posted on at least Twitter already. I'm not sure, but it's joint watch party with the club and with EM, our friends over there, and it's been it's been a long time coming since we've done one of those, and it was a lot of fun. Despite the draw, there was a 30-second period where we had the lead and the vibes were immaculate, and then we gave it up again. But Torquato made his debut in this game, right? His first start, at least. He got a few minutes earlier in the season, but he got a first start. I think he looked good here. Logan with a little back heel pass going on. Musa.
Oh my goodness, that
Musa
whole play
with a brace.
Between him and Ramiro. Oh my goodness.
I've got one question for you guys right now. Lucho Acosta, who?
Look, I'm going to give it another week here. before I decide that it's. Are we late enough to cuss? Nah, not yet. Before I decide that it's the same stuff that he's been doing at other teams. The fact that they put the personal reasons tag on there, as opposed to just saying he's unavailable, is different.
Well,
He has no say in that kind of tag. That's the team tagging it. So I don't know. I'm going to give it, and the fact that Pedrinho is also missing.
yeah, so that's the interesting thing. So the Wednesday game, we know Lucho was suspended, right? We knew he wasn't going to play. He was suspended, but he turned up at training here back home in Dallas. He was at the North Texas game, or at the North Texas training, wearing North Texas gear alongside Pedrinho, who was listed as out on Wednesday for personal reasons, and he was seen out and about in Dallas on Wednesday. So
Right.
who knows what those personal reasons were? Flash forward to Saturday, Lucho's out of the lineup in street clothes, not even making the bench, and Pedrinho as well. So what do
Yeah,
we think is
I don't
going
know.
on
If
here?
Pedrinho wasn't involved, I would be more sure that it's just the normal Acosta stuff that's happened at other teams. I want to give another week before I decide that's the case. I don't know.
Yeah,
With your history though, you can't be mad when people are assuming that's the case.
Sure.
no, I think it's probably some team rules nonsense or an attitude problem in training. I
Yeah.
remember this happened with Rito Ziegler, and then we found out it was because he broke COVID protocol. Like sometimes they don't always
Yeah, but from what
become
I
clear. So
that Redo thing was also a little bit of he actually have COVID? I think that was just a sort of like screw you to the team. Is like, oh, I'm
yeah,
just
no,
near COVID.
yeah, I think he wanted to go home anyway. But yeah, there's this team is a little iffy. They don't like talking about injuries or personal issues. So
Most
Right.
teams
um,
don't, but they do
Right.
keep it a little closer to the vest than most.
yeah,
No, they
so
definitely do. Yeah, I mean, I won't read into it right away, but it's hard to not suspect that it's a attitude issue.
it is.
But we
Let's
give the
get back.
captain. We get the captain. Well, go ahead. You want to go back to Wednesday?
No, so we can go back to the game because the Lucho thing is to me it's one of them things. He's not replaceable by any of the kids behind him, so it's not one of them things where we can be like, well, he's out. A
But he,
we pay him too much money. We paid too much money. It's one of them things where like FC Dallas doesn't waste unless it's a Coleman, and even him we kept for a year. So it's one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
those things
Even
where
he helped North Texas out at least. Like,
yeah, well, and we can't send Lucho to North Texas. That's the thing that's not
could you
going to happen.
imagine?
I'm pretty sure he'd leave. He would put a who's the kid who left and went to Turkey on like unapproved, and then we had to sell him? Was it
Castillo.
Castillo? There we go. He would definitely pull one of those and just bounce and be like, "You can sell me in the summertime." Um, Either way, if we did sell him, I wouldn't be mad if we got some revenue from that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a deal
Well,
for us. But
can I bring up another thing on this Stiller? We can move on if you want, but
no, go ahead.
I think a player like Lucho, and historically he has just disappeared before.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he would have done it at that if it's that bad. I think maybe we're still a few steps away from that. I
yeah.
do think that there's at least a tiny sliver that you could deal him to a contender
Oh,
that
for
is
sure.
looking for like a small piece. It's going to cost you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
You're going to lose
cover.
more than you gain,
Yeah, we're
but
gonna have to cover 60% of his wages.
yeah, yeah.
It's
All
gonna be
you're
one
going
of
to
them
get is
deals.
him off
Yeah,
the books. That's it.
if he's happy and we're happy, I'm again not my club. I'm not the guy making these decisions. But if he's happy to move on, we're happy to move on. We got to eat a couple $1 million to just get out from under this, and there's still some money to spend. We've got players coming in, right? We got the Haitian national, which
I still
falls
can't remember his name. I'm not there yet.
decent. Lucius Don Deedson got an incredible name. That is an incredible Major League
Doesn't
Soccer
he?
name.
Doesn't he actually go by Lucius, not Lucius?
I think he goes by Deedson. I think that's.
Oh, okay.
I think he just goes by Deedson. But he's got some serious potential. Chris Cappy's coming back. That's not
I'm more
confirmed
excited about
yet,
that
but
than I
that's going
should
to be
be.
fun to see him back if
Yeah.
that's legit. He's a Quill guy, and I think Quill could probably get a lot out of him. Unfortunately, I think that means that's Paxton's main roster spot that we're not going to really probably ever see Pax again
Look,
at
I've
that
been
point.
thinking
I don't
about
know.
that a little bit the last couple of days. Actually, the Paxton thing. Like, I'm bummed that might be it, but I am happy that Paxton got on the field and showed us a little bit for another game and a half.
Yep.
Like, I'm starting to look back on that game and a half really fondly and think, thank God I got to see that.
And
I'm
it was
still bummed.
and the Open
Like,
Cup performance too, right?
yeah.
Seeing him in Open Cup is pretty cool, right? Like that's the legacy of Dallas right there, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're veering off of the San Jose game.
no, it's fine. Yeah, it's one of them things where Yeah, the signees that we're getting, plus the fact that Quill is playing the kids, like Siki hasn't gotten a game in 4 games, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Actually, to be honest, Siki hasn't gotten a game and we lost 5 in a row, so maybe
I mean,
tomato.
that's worth talking about.
No, I mean, to be honest, Siki was a USL championship player anyway. I wish that kid like great luck. And he's not even a kid now. I think he's 27. So like he's on, he's been making more than I think anyone anticipated for him for a very long time.
Well, listen, Marcus, I know
Uh,
you're a massive Siki guy, so you can get his jersey for $170 right now on
oh,
the
facts.
NCL's Foundation thing. So if you're
Oh,
interested,
to be honest, that classic. He's going to be our Victor Ua. He's just going to be the
just for
underground
the
legend.
record, the jersey by itself costs like $160.
So the signature is $10. I'll take
yeah,
it.
basically.
But let's get back to these the doubleheader. So after 5 in a row, a bunch of games winless, we go to San Jose and we fight through one. That being said, is that a point gained or 2 points lost? That's the question. I do want to shout out to Moose. He's finally doing. I mean, not finally. Let's be honest. He had
5
injury.
goal involvements in 2 games without Lucho Acosta.
Yeah, but I don't. That has nothing to. One has nothing to do with the other. If we're being completely honest.
Okay.
I will say.
Okay.
I'll give you. I'll give you the
Says
1
you.
point. No. Well, says to be honest, he has 5 goals. He has 11 goals total, which means that he scored 6 before with Lucho on the field. So
well, no, he scored 4 back-to-back braces and 6 goal. It was 5 goal involvements in 2 games because he had the assist to Kayike on that beautiful goal.
I have felt all season that there's only 2 players that Lucho made better, and those 2 players are Musa and Pedrinho, and that was only because of their chemistry. In my opinion, he's always good to be that third man, for those.
But we can talk about the 2 goals here.
Yeah, let's please, because one of them is gorgeous, especially.
Most definitely. Yeah. The Musa. Which one are you talking about? Which one's pretty? Because from the
I'm
San
talking
Jose
about
game,
the Ramiro to Logan to Ramiro to Musa, I believe.
That was the Logan back heel.
Yeah.
Yes. More like a side tap, but
sure.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
It was a
good.
roll.
It was good. It was good hold up play. He did his job.
It was good footwork too. It was good. It was good. Just it was good touch. It was.
Yeah. But those are the kind of goals that Nico wanted us to do so bad that we never could.
Yes. And the reason it was pretty is because Musa started it off. Because technically he crossed the ball. It went too far. Romero chased it down. Shaq chased it down, passed it to Romero. Logan was smart enough because I've seen Logan in that position where he tries to turn and shoot the ball instead of doing what he did this time.
Right.
And then Musa, the movement off the ball, the defender apparently lost track of a guy who's 6'5". I don't know how you do that personally. And the most beautiful tap in I've ever seen. Unfortunately, 30 seconds later.
But what bliss for 30 seconds.
I know, right? It's just
the watch party was on fire.
Yeah,
for 30
the bar was up and jumping. I think I think I might have jumped in Kenny Cooper's lap at one point.
Yeah, I think that may have been that's the best 30 seconds since prom night. So it's one of those things. Moose is doing what he has to do, but the defense is still now. Granted, Joseph Martinez is an absolute scoring machine, even a diminished version of him. Right?
And to his credit, to do the little recovery he did there, and the vision to decide not to shoot but lay it off the way that was a good player doing good player things.
Yeah. That said, this is one of those double-edged swords, right? If Kayike had just done his job there instead of diving in, which Buzz mentioned this on his 3 things. Like the kid, positive thing, scores a goal. Previous game, negative thing. Why not just use the end line as a defender and just run him to the end line, right? No, instead you try to dive in, you miss.
They even said it on the broadcast.
Yeah, and then now we get to debate whether or not the ball was inbound, outbound type nonsense. And it's one of them things where, like, unless it's an obvious decision, it's inbound, and we're just going to keep it moving.
Not to mention that the referee who's going to call that out is on the opposite side. You can't rely on that.
Yeah,
you can't rely on that. Like,
I miss the days when they had another linesman like behind the goal. You remember before VAR? Yeah, good old times. It was like, why is that guy like your only job is to stand behind the goal? That's crazy.
It's like the NFL referee's job is just watch the first down line. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no. As far as the San Jose game goes, I personally see this 2 points lost. Right, you go on the road, you go up in the 85th minute, and you're like, you can't shut down for 10 minutes. Is that what
Yeah,
we're telling me?
and the
So
team has shown that they can shut down. So there's a reason it shouldn't have been able to do it here.
and
Uh,
and another
there was
reason
a
I'm upset.
turnoff. It's some of that turnoff we keep seeing too.
Yes.
Uh,
Um.
like whenever, yeah, on the Joseph Martinez. Sorry, the first goal was the one where Joseph Martinez passed back and there was a long shot, right?
Yep.
Yes.
On that one, you kind of saw our defensive midfield turn off there for a second as
Yep.
well,
There was
and
yep.
didn't
Yep.
move when the ball was played back. Just dumb little turnoffs that keep happening still.
Yeah, and the reason I said we should be able to shut it down because we started the next game at home with 5 in the back with Leggett as the. I'm like, wait, I was confused for the longest time. I thought my eyesight was hurting me. I'm like, there's literally a 5 in the back, and Leggett was the right back.
Yeah. Well, and
That
I
was
don't
crazy.
mind the formation other than the fact that the last two coaches have burned it to the ground for us trying to run that formation.
Yeah,
But it felt to me like there was definitely something there other than the fact that we have no depth for that.
yeah, fair. I mean, if we're putting Leggett, which is technically our like 8,
Yeah.
as the right back, that's
It's a little
crazy.
weird.
But yeah. But that's my review of the San Jose game. I think for me, it's less of a point gain and more of 2 points lost as far as
I
the
think I
San
can
Jose
side with
game.
that. For what it's worth, though, I do think the team put together a solid 60% of the game, like
Yeah.
a pretty solid one. And I think that leading over into the St. Louis game, like they put together at minimum a wonderful half, right?
Mhm.
So we're seeing some good signs of like being able to at least hold something together. Now, the fact that you can't do that for 75 plus minutes is really annoying
Mhm.
at this point in the season. But maybe that's because you haven't been able to nail tactics down because of personnel. I don't know.
For
You know.
sure. So what do you Dennis, what are your thoughts on the San Jose game?
I think it was a good get right game. I would have liked to come away with 3 points, especially considering we had the lead there like late, like you said. But I think in the context of the overall season, in the context of where we've been the last few weeks, in the context of it being the back half of a 2-game West Coast road trip, coming home Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, a lot of activity, a lot going on. I think outside of that context, a draw would have been great. But the way the season has gone, I think you really needed to take those 3 points back with us. And so I do think it was 2 points left on the table. But in other contexts, it would have been okay to go on the road and get the draw. Had they gotten the draw in LA earlier in the week or the prior weekend, might have been a different story too. Coming back from that road trip with 2 points would have been okay. Coming back from that road trip with 1 point, not okay.
Yeah, and look, San Jose is not a bad team, but they're mid-table, just like we are, and they're a team that you should be able to compete with. They're not exactly on the best run of form either. They're winless in 5 now, so I don't know. I feel like you dropped a couple of points if I'm having to say that as well. Good performance overall, but you dropped points.
Yeah, I mean, if this game, like you said, a get right game, if this is what Musa needs to get running and have a goal every third game kind of run, I'm all for it. Right? He had 17 goals last year. I'm hoping he touches 20, which is possible with the rest of the games we have. I think our season record is 19 that Jesus has, right? I think 19 is our max for a season, if I'm
I
not
think you're
mistaken.
probably right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if he hits 20, he's a club legend, right?
Yep.
Um so yeah, no, I mean if it's a get right game, I'm all for it. That said, let me run down the stats right quick before we move on to the St. Louis game. Shots were even at 13 shots on target. We had 5 to their 3 possessions, 63%. Not as 63% to San Jose, which I guess they're the home team. You expect that kind of dominance. This
Yeah,
is
we've
pretty
sort of been
terrible.
giving up the possession anyways, it sounds like.
Yeah, but this is the terrible part. Passing accuracy, 65% FC Dallas. That is
Ooh, that's
absolutely
horrifying given that the
terrible.
last couple of games, I think we were up in the 80s, right?
So
Yeah,
maybe
that's not great.
having a decent number 10 helps. But anyways, um,
Maybe.
corners are the same, offside 6, and this is, that's Bernie still needs to work on that, the offside trap. But yeah, no, it's one of them things where like I'll take it, a point on the road. To be honest, I like if a thing is a fact normally, it should be a fact most of the time, right?
Yeah,
If
in a
if a
vacuum at least.
Yeah, if a point on the road is good on a normal season, a point on the road needs to be good on a really terrible season.
But like I said, you'd like a little bit more considering the overall context of the season. It's not terrible to come home with 1 point, but only coming home with 1 point on the whole road trip makes it a little bit more difficult to swallow.
That's fact. Well, ladies
what is
and
this
gentlemen,
logo we have up here? What are we looking at here?
I know, I know it seems like I'm being crazy here, but I'm just saying I need us to trademark this if they won't.
This is somebody's AI generated version of what it should look like.
This is absolutely beautiful. Personally, I'm just saying, let's make this happen.
For the record, I'm not seeing whatever y'all are seeing for some reason.
Oh, you're not seeing it?
No.
Oh no! All right, I'm gonna text it to you later.
Oh, is it that crummy FC Dallas logo thing that somebody made with the Thunder Horse head?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
It's such a poor design.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not.
It's a cool concept, but it's a terrible design.
First of all, you like the Boise crap, so I don't want to hear anything from you.
No. I said I didn't.
But
no. My problem with this design is from the actual design perspective. The concept I'm totally on board for. I think the flames and stuff on the Dallas look like shit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it needs touching up. It needs touching up.
Here's the thing about AI. It's going to make regular people think they're artists. It's kind of like you could record any rapper could do Soulja Boy and record in their studio in their home studio basement. Music is going to get a little bit diminished.
It's kind of like anybody can do a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing numbers, baby. Let's
as long as we got a white boy with some confidence, we're good.
Yeah. So we're moving on to
happy to be that. Happy to be the white boy with confidence for this podcast.
So we're gonna move on to Saturday night. It's 90s night, baby, and moving on to
immaculate.
I guess moving on to some
sync.
Actual good artwork here. We want to shout out to our all our team members who were part of this. This, it's a long time in the making. We haven't had a TIFO in a season and a half, I'm thinking, right? It's
Just
been a minute.
One more thing real quick. It's not loading for me. You're showing the TIFO image?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I talk about this for a second?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Because I was pretty involved with it. I think so was Dennis. We did this across 3 sessions. I'd say roughly took
4 if you count tracing.
Yeah. Would you say 9 hours roughly?
9 hours with about
25 people overall.
Yeah, between 10 and 25 people between 10 and 20 people, I think, at each event. So
sorry, what I meant was how many people were involved though, like 25 to 30?
About 25 people totally involved.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, including people like Kenny Cooper. People from all 3 of the supporters groups came out and did a little bit of work here and there. Shout out to the team for letting us paint in the tunnel. I mean, everything was team supporter. I mean, everyone came together for this, and it was just a nice feel-good moment to have in what's been a crummy season.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I just want to read through our special thanks list. Obviously, this is, a combined effort, all 3 groups. We were the ones that, primarily got it off the ground, and, we handled getting the materials and the paint and everything else. But all 3 groups contributed this in one way or another. So shout out to El Matador and La Murga. Special thanks absolutely need to go out to Stephen Gould, former DVG president. He was the man that put paper to pen here, right? He turned, a crappy little, basically a napkin math design and turned it into a real piece of art that we could trace on and made sure we had the materials. I know you helped out with that a lot too, but your leadership, so that's just your job.
I'll take that.
But also the Cooper family, Kenny Cooper, FC Dallas legend Kenny Cooper, his wife Molly, and their wonderful daughters. They came out. Kenny brought pizza to a TIFO painting party at our final one, actually, the one we did in the tunnel at the stadium. Kenny showed up with 10 or so pizzas. He, his wife, and the kids all helped out, picked up a roller, picked up a brush, painted in some sections. There's nobody like Kenny Cooper anywhere in professional sports. I don't care what your argument it is. The man is there's nothing like him. There is nobody like him. There is nobody that yes, it's his job to be a club ambassador in his post playing days, but there's nobody that commits to the fans the way Kenny does.
Look, I think Kenny's trying to fill the shoes that Bobby Ryan left behind, and I think he's really trying to make everyone proud doing that.
And I think he's doing a great job of it as well. Next on the list, we had the Reynolds family, Corey, Dr. Aaron, and as I call him, future FC Dallas legend, Doc. They contributed financially significantly to this. So shout out to the Reynolds. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. Community Beer, Nelly and team over there providing us space to trace and 2 painting sessions. We would have done a third painting session there if we could have gotten there earlier in the week, but that was on us. But without community, this doesn't happen, right? Without that space to do it, without having a place for people to come together and eat and drink and do this doesn't happen. And then last but not least on the list, I have Tanner Knoll and the FC Dallas Ops team who coordinated us getting in the stadium with this, getting it to the section, and then taking it from us after we dropped it, and then displaying it here where you see on the tarpon section. I think that's 132 on the now closed down east end.
Can we name drop Nick as well?
Yes, please.
Because Nick worked with us to get that thing put up on the other side. He's been super communicative, has worked with the SGs pretty well about banners and tifos and stuff, and that's been real nice.
So yeah, I just want to make sure all those people get love, and everybody who came out and picked up a brush and painted or traced or were involved in some way. Anybody who donated $5, $10, $15, $20. I know we had a whole bunch of small donations come in. We appreciate everything that you were able to contribute, whether it was time, money, space, or just coming to hang out and rally with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and because we're a Dallas podcast, not just FC Dallas, you should also shout out people from Trinity that came to help, and Los Lunáticos from Atletico Dallas, that at least one of them came out to help. At minimum, communicative and trying to learn the process. So
yeah. Shout out to, like I said, everybody that came out involved, and if I didn't mention you, I apologize, but we did have, we had a bunch of hands. We had a bunch of people that came to help out here. We even had some strangers off Reddit who are now full-fledged Guardians and came out to tailgate and came out to drop with us. So they saw us on Reddit, came out to just hang out at community. Free beer helps a little bit get people involved, but it's amazing what you can do when you offer free beer. But this is our first one in a while, as Marcus said, and we're looking forward to maybe getting one more of these off the ground by the end of the season, doing a couple more next season, and really just getting back to this. This is it's a labor of love, and we love this team, good or bad, and this is a fun project to really be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to, like the guy said, I want to shout out everybody who helped. Unfortunately, because of scheduling, life happens. But yeah, no, it's really great. It's really great that they support us when we have something nice to say. I wonder if we had a quill out tifo, they'd put it over there, but whatever. That being said, I
would take a rig.
Oh, that's a fact. That said, I want to remind everyone in this 30th season of Major League Soccer, for all the newcomers, for all the hype, we are the Texas original.
Let it not all be others forgotten. Are shit.
Yes,
all others are shit.
I know the broccoli boys like to act like they're Seattle, like they invented soccer in Texas. You didn't.
It's easy when you steal a team.
That's a fact. Or,
it's also easy when your USL team folds when you move in.
That's true. All these new Austin fans. I was like, where were you in the Boulder around, sir? Anyways, and then
they were living in California like everybody else in Austin.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then Houston, the Dynamo.
Yeah, we played them Wednesday, right? Yeah. Wait, wrong switch. My bad.
Wrong switch. Yeah.
That was Dynamo 1.0.
Is it the Clash, the Dynamo, or San Jose? What do we?
Actually, not. How do we forget this? No. Before we move on, again, shout out to everyone who has a tifo. We appreciate all your support. Any donations, and this is with me. Any donations given to Dallas Beer Guardians goes back into the supporters group, be it tifos, the jockey box that we bought, so you can have cold beer, waters, everything that you see that we do.
Food, water, soda, ice. Like this stuff is like I mentioned this at the tailgate. None of this stuff is free, right? We've got some great partners with HEB.
The only thing free is the labor.
Right, and we've got some great partners, HEB, Community Beer. We get some of this subsidized, but a lot of this comes out of our own pocket. We spend a couple $100 a week in ice alone, right? So this is something that we do out of the goodness of our hearts, because we love to party with you guys. We love to come and hang out. But anything you can contribute to us, we absolutely appreciate. And membership starts at just $10.
$10. So anything you can do, we appreciate it. And like I said, follow us on everything and see y'all at the next tailgate. So hold on, pause. Martin. Now that we can move on. I forgot to mention this with the San Jose game. Those Clash jerseys were absolute pieces of art. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say pieces of shit. I was like, what are you talking about? Those were gorgeous.
No,
I think me and Dennis were about to throw down just now.
That's chef's kiss right there. Those.
Well, let me ask you this though: should
beautiful.
Houston be wearing Clash gear, or should San Jose been wearing Clash gear?
Okay, stop it, guys.
It's like
Again,
asking if the Baltimore Ravens should wear Cleveland Browns throwbacks or not.
no,
I'm
it's
just
like the
saying,
Houston.
know your history.
It's like it's not.
Like the
All right,
Tennessee Titans wear
sorry.
Oilers. Like, should the Titans wear Oilers
I'm
throwbacks
gonna
or
be
should the
transparent
Texans
here.
wear?
I'm just talking trash.
I'm
See,
fine with talking trash about anybody
fair
else in
enough.
the Western Conference at this point, honestly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, let's get to St. Louis. Another team
Please?
that stole a team. Anyways, here's the thing. So we won this game 3-0, but I'm looking at the possession stats. We only had 33%
It's
of
okay.
possession.
Don't need the ball to win. Not in Quill's offense.
Yeah.
That is
No, that's
low
not.
for us, though. Even in a game where we don't like
33% at
possession.
home
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
terrible. All right. So, and that's 2 games in a row. This is why I said earlier that not having your 10 is an issue. He, besides Musa, might be the best person with the
Is
ball at
Delgado
his
not our 10?
feet. Delgado's a child. Let's just be completely honest.
Hey,
The play
for-
the kids strategy is nice until it
For
isn't.
what it's worth, we do transition a whole hell of a lot better without Lucho.
That's true because
So that's something, but I still think the possession
Because
is
it's
concerning. I'm with you. I do
because
think it's
without
concerning.
Lucho, it's find the open man. With Lucho, it's find Lucho. Unfortunately, that's just what the game is. The way it's set up right now.
yes, and it's one of those. If you watch any other sport, right? If you have a really hot wide receiver, you send the corner and the safety to cover him. The same thing with Lucho. If he's near the ball, we're going to send 2 guys. And instead of him
Right.
doing the thing which you need to do, which is be a decoy and pass the ball, he's like, oh, I'm going to try to draw a foul, but I'm going to fall really soft and I'm going to complain. And then the refs aren't going to give me the call. And then I'm going to complain some more. And then the refs are going to not give me that call.
And I'm
So,
definitely not getting the calls later when I actually do get tossed to the ground.
yes. We can speak about the penalty.
Vintage
Do you think-
STD, by the way.
Yeah. If you think about the penalty, if Lucho had fallen in the penalty box, giving his history, would we have gotten that penalty, or the ref would have been like, "Nah, get up"?
Yeah,
It's
you
one of the
tell me.
things.
I don't know what to tell you on this one.
That's why sometimes reputation precedes you. But that said, let's shout out to the man again, Moose, the man of the match twice. Right. You spend $10 million on a guy who
Team of the
wasn't
week, by the way.
team. Oh, with 4 goals and 2 assists, like you got to get team of the week, right? You got to be the starting. It's a shame he got injured. I think he would have been an all-star, but unfortunately,
I do. Yeah, I don't think it's a snub. I think it just has to do with injury.
That's
Yeah, he
okay.
was
I don't
really
need
good.
to see Musa
Yeah.
playing for Nico again.
That's a fact. Yeah, so he was out for a couple of weeks.
End up with some
But
Vietnam flashbacks.
oh my goodness. Yeah, so going down the stats again. Somehow I don't know how this is correct. Again, we tied with shots, 16 apiece.
That's shocking to me. It didn't feel like 16 to me. All right.
Shots on target. Us 10, St. Louis 2. So that's how you blank.
I want to remind you that St. Louis hit the bar twice, though, right?
Those are the 2 shots on goal. Yeah.
Those don't count as on goal.
Yeah,
No?
those don't count on goal.
No.
Yeah.
It's only on goal if it would have gone in.
Right.
Yeah, possession 33%, pass accuracy. See, this is again with the number 10,
Yeah.
77. This is what I mean by there's
Better
good
than last
and
time,
there's
but still not great. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying there's good and then there's bad. This
Yeah,
is
okay.
why the play the kid strategy is not great, right? Because you could tell Musa. There was a couple of times where Musa was like, "Let's do a 1-2," and I don't know, either Kaique or Romero disguised the ball over his head, and I'm like,
Right.
all right, guys, you
Yeah.
gotta. So this is what I'm saying. This is why everyone who's a little excited about, we don't need Lucho to win. And I'm like, long term, unless we're going to make some major changes, I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, you got to use your man, too, when he's paid that much.
That being said, good hold-up play by Musa there and the pass off. Kaique, that could have easily skied the ball.
Oh, yeah. We were all
but-
waiting for it, right? Like,
but
he
top
scores a
bin.
screamer, but we usually go, oh, yeah, there's that Brian Acosta shot.
Yep.
Like,
Fact, right?
Yeah.
But he opens up his hips, side of the foot, top bin, goalkeeper.
Gorgeous setup by Musa too, right? Like
Yes,
Musa
yeah.
set him up and he just fucking finished like a gentleman.
And
Yes.
on top of that, Mark, this is the thing you and I have been bitching about for the last, I don't know, month and a half now. I mean, we could go back to a whole season or so, even as far back as having Yaramendi, but we've complained about the touch, especially first touch. Last 2 games, I feel like that first touch has been surprisingly good for FC Dallas, especially the St. Louis game. A lot of incredible first touches. I don't know if they're working on that or what, but it's made a difference.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are bad are going to continue to be bad.
Sure.
It's too late in their career to teach them
Yeah.
anything. But like Logan is getting really good at just killing the ball when it comes to him. That's what you need to do. That's that hold up play in the previous game. That's the type of thing I need him to do, right? Hold your man off, look for a runner. That's all. That's your job. That's what it is. But yeah, that's it. And then Musa would an absolute beauty of a goal.
Absolutely.
And then the penalty taking, the goalkeeper guesses the right way, but just out of arm's reach.
Can I
And
talk about the penalty for a second?
yeah,
Yes.
go ahead. Yeah.
We were all in the stadium. I have never heard the stadium get that quiet for any kick ever, except for maybe the Minnesota penalty kicks a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
It was crazy how quiet the stadium got for that kick.
Everybody
mean,
was locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Musa has missed one, Lucho has missed one. So I
Yeah.
think we don't have a great record on penalty kicks,
No,
so
we
I
don't.
understand the trepidation when it comes to that for sure. But that being said, this is the type of performance. I mean, looking at the stats, I'm not happy. But like Dennis said, you don't really need to possess the ball to win. We won 3-0 having 30% of the ball. That's not a long-term thing though,
That's not
right?
sustainable.
Yeah, it's like early in the season when we were winning games on the road. That's not sustainable. You are going to eventually come back to the mean. For all my math nerds there, you were going to come back to the middle when it comes to wins away.
And let's be
So
real about the whole thing. St. Louis is a trash team.
Yep, that was going to be my next point.
And by the way, Klaus is a pussy. I did not realize that.
Sold out his whole team in his press conference.
Holy cow. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Oh, did he? What did he say? I forgot that. What did he say?
I believe he said their performance was, I don't know if he said disgusting or despicable, and basically blamed his entire team for not showing up and not doing their jobs.
Yeah, I was really more concerned with, like, on the field, how'd that dude not get a yellow for just dissent and constantly being in the referee's face? Like, we were talking about confrontation, and I know it's about mass confrontation, the rules that are written, but man, come on.
I'm gonna say with a statement
You
like
got
that,
pocketed by a rookie, buddy. I'm so sorry.
I know, hurt his feelings. I'm not gonna lie, with a statement like that, I think
Disgraceful was the word he used. Disgraceful.
that's a more reasonable critique. But
He's not wrong, but yeah.
yeah, if he just said,
followed up with, "I feel sorry for the people that traveled there on their own money and had to watch that. You have a huge number of players on options that should be smart enough to know that they're playing for their contracts. They're playing for their future. The way we performed yesterday is a clear sign that these players don't want to be here. We need a change."
I mean, okay, that's pretty diplomatic in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually don't think his statements after the game are that bad. I think it's a guy who's frustrated and his team is garbage. So I do get it.
Wait,
I'm more talking about on the field, personally.
well, yeah, that's true. No, but was that translated? Because I know he's not English is
Couldn't
maybe
tell
not
you.
his first. Was that translated or is that word for word? Because
I-
sometimes the translations
I believe that's the word for word I got. That
Okay.
came from a St. Louis reporter that posted that. So it was somebody in Cincy media camp that
I think St. Louis had one player that looked good, and it was Leuven, or however you pronounce it.
Yes, yeah,
Who even had good moments. So
yeah.
he was on. This was on KMOX, which is the Sports on Sunday Morning radio show in
St. Louis.
St. Louis. So it was on English radio. So I assume it would be a
Okay.
conversation in English.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's with foreign players I'm always a little
That's
hiccup
fair.
on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
unless it's somebody like Ichiro who lived here for 20 years and somehow is like, I'm gonna speak through a translator.
Yeah,
like
right.
you're not fooling anybody, buddy. Because
Just don't want to talk to anybody. If I could do that too, I would.
I remember him doing that, and then they had a video of him in the dugout speaking perfect English
Perfect
to his teammates. I'm like, what the fuck?
American sports are incredible.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. Like Ichiro, that's not cool, bro. Like you've been here a long time. And they actually called him out on that. He's like, yeah, he gave.
He just looked and said, "I don't speak English. I don't know what you're saying."
No, he gave a reasonable. No, he gave a reasonable answer through his translator. Yeah. It was the friendliest thing. He's like, yes, it's just I'm with my teammates. I feel secure so that I won't be misunderstood. But with the media, I want to be clear. And it was
totally reasonable. Totally,
that is a
answer.
man who gets the game. Let's go.
But he was lying. Is the whole thing.
Yeah,
that said,
that is a man who understands the game.
Yeah, I mean, we can wrap up this St. Louis game. I want to give it. I mean, I don't want to wrap up too quickly, obviously, because I want to give them the same amount of energy we gave when they were losing. This was a good performance. We won. Musa is back where we knew he would be if he stayed healthy. Shout out to him. Apparently, according to his press conference, he had some people he knew at the game, and that really jump started him. And that happens a lot with foreign players here. Absolutely. Is like when you get a touch of home, really gives your blood
They were
flowing.
at the tailgate too, I believe, right? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah.
So shout out to Moose's boys. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. I would say that in Croatian, but I don't have a translator.
Shout out to the one guy specifically that had his leg above the rail the whole time and had a security guard going, hang on, the whole game.
I would too. If it was my boy out there, I absolutely would be doing the same thing. That being said, there have been several families and friends of players out that have even joined the section. We had some Colodi boys, some of Colodi's friends out there in the section. We had the Colodi family welcoming us to join them in San Jose this week. They were at the game. The Farrington family are always floating around somewhere. So lots of local boys, right? Like lots of local folks who have their families here and they come out and they hang and they support. We love it. Anybody who wants to come hang at a tailgate, please join us. It's always a good time.
Oh, for sure. So next game, Friday the 25th, we play. Actually,
And
this leads into our next story. Actually, we play the New
perfect.
York City FC club. I see progress. Yeah, I see progress on their stadium. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm actually looking forward to a trip up there for sure.
Honestly, yeah.
If we can double header that in the Cosmos game next year, I think that would be apt. Well, no, are they going to be ready?
They're nowhere. They're going to be nowhere near each other. But I am absolutely looking forward to that stadium. That is my hometown, right? That is where I grew up. I went to high school a train stop away from where that stadium is going to be. It's directly next to what's now City Field, what used to be Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
I used to cut out of school, hop on the train, go hang out and do underage things in the bleachers at Shea Stadium back in the day. So that area means a lot to me. I grew up over there, and having a soccer specific stadium, having a team come in and really revitalize that area next to the stadium that all used to be junkyards, and they're going to be putting up some apartments. They're going to make a little downtown type area. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. So when we're ready for that, let's absolutely make that trip. I'm down.
Can't wait for that tour from you, Dennis.
Yeah, no doubt. So Friday nights, 7:30. We're doing beer exchange at the tailgate.
Beer exchange, some hot dogs, little basics. We're gonna get out there 4:30 and just kind of kick around for a little while.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that leads us into our next topic as we move to the game on the international scale. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this idea that's been in the forefront of my mind recently with the Club World Cup and obviously what's going on around the world. So we know that this is the world's game, and that means, international clubs everywhere. But
Right.
I want to ask y'all opinion on what are your feelings on multiple owners or multiple clubs under one ownership group. I can pop this up here. This is just a small example. I mean,
Do you want
it's
to go one at a time on this real quick? Just
no,
like
no. I'm
opinion
just your
wise, or
thoughts. No, just your thoughts. Like, what are your thoughts on overall general thoughts on a group like as we were just talking about New York
yeah,
Football Club. What are your thoughts on them owning 6 or 7 clubs all over the globe?
yeah. I hate it, and I think it's unethical. That at its
Give
core, I think it's unethical.
give me more.
Yeah, I just think you're creating a conflict of interest, even if it doesn't come into play every week. It does eventually come into your club model, at least with clubs like Citigroup, especially.
Mhm.
Uh, you got your Patrick Vieira, I guess, as an example of a player that played for Citigroup and now coaches for Citigroup. Maybe that's just that is loyalty to the player, and I'm not going to, or from the player. I'm not going to be critical of him, but I don't think New York City FC gets Vieira as a coach if he's not part of City Sports Group. That is a form of integration that I don't think is okay. I just think that's
I
unethical.
mean, that's a fair point because we had is it Jesse Marsh who was a coach of Red Bulls in New York and then he
Mhm.
got a job for them in Augsburg, and I think the plan eventually was for him to go to another Red Bull, like stay within the system. So that's good. There's so there's a good in my opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good thing, but I'm going to be like devil's advocate here. So having multiple ownership group in multiple countries allows them to. I understand why the owners would want to do that, right? So if you find instead of having to pay a ridiculous transfer fee to an independent club, you can pay yourself slightly less by moving money around on the same books to get a Brazilian player you really like to play on your Brazilian team. Then you then transfer him when you think he's ready to the European team, And you pay yourself $20 million when in reality, if you were supposed to compete, you'd have to pay that guy like 100 and something million.
Yeah, and I
Right?
guess that's
One
where
of
my
those.
problem is. It's anti-competition.
Yeah. Dennis, what are your thoughts?
So, from a business perspective, I understand like why you would want to be in this position, right? You want to, like you just said, you want to be able to move clubs around. First of all, let's talk about the irony how New York City's or the New York metro area's two big clubs, the two MLS clubs, are both part of conglomerates.
I have never realized that fact.
No, I did. I knew at the time.
I've never realized that,
They're both part of conglomerates.
or it never came to light in my head.
I mean, it would make sense, right? In order to get real estate and build a stadium, you need deep pockets, and
I do believe that FIFA does need to step in, and these competitions need to step in and make sure that there are sufficient walls between the clubs. I do think that they need to operate independently of each other, and yes, you can have some finagling of, yes, I want to move this player here, I want to move that player here. That's going to happen, right? There's no way around that. But I do think that there need to be more rules in place about, yes, you can own a club, this group can own multiple clubs, but they cannot manage multiple clubs, and they need to be detached from the day-to-day management of these clubs, and they need to operate as separate entities, right? Like I know there are rules against a lot of this, but there's nothing really to stop me from owning, say, a McDonald's franchise, and McDonald's might be a bad example because they have specific rules, but there's nothing from to prevent me from owning, say, a Taco Bell franchise and a Chick-fil-A franchise, right? But those need to be run as separate businesses. I can't say my Taco Bell ran out of cheese, let me run to Chick-fil-A and get some, right? That's bad for both businesses, and that type of thing shouldn't be happening. So if they are going to continue with this, and this conglomerate thing is just going to get bigger, right? It's just going to get bigger as especially as more American money continues to flow into Europe with the Ryan Reynolds thing. They're looking to buy another club over there in Italy somewhere. We've got all these people coming in, and it's going to happen, right? It is the American money going over to Europe right now, just buying up clubs. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast, and it is what it is. But these clubs need to operate as single, separate entities without collusion between them, and there needs to be walls and rules put in place.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, can I talk about what positive could come out of it, or do you have something you want to add first?
No, I was going to say. So I agree that we need to put up walls. Now, luckily, they haven't gone full MLS single entity.
Right.
Besides Mexico, none of these clubs are in the same league, right? Or even in the same country, to be honest with you. It's not like in England, I own a championship club and then a League Two club, and then we run into issues that way.
Sure, but in Europe, you have teams that do eventually play each other, and we run into situations like Lyon and Crystal Palace.
Yes, which we would discuss in a moment. But yeah, what were you going to say about the positive? No, you're good.
I
No,
just
you're
wanted
good.
to say that there's a positive way to do it where you actually invest in the local economy and the local market when you're doing this kind of thing, and it does help bring bigger money to smaller markets like a Salzburg or something. That's a bad example because Salzburg screwed all the locals there, and everyone in Salzburg hates them. But there's a world where if they ran it right, they can invest locally and really develop the local game and like actually invest in the local area. I don't think we're seeing that happen as much. I think the only place where we are sort of seeing that happen is what's his name that owns McKinney Chupacabras, that owns all the teams.
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Yeah.
Hitchcock's done that okay. I still think it's unethical for him to own all these USL teams, and they play each other in the playoffs. I have a problem with that. That being said, I don't think he's shown that it's been an issue.
Yeah. I think locally for us, that's not really an issue. There's not any money involved yet.
Well, I also don't think there has been anything that has happened.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, my stance is ethical here. I still think it's unethical for him to do that, but he, at least as far as I'm aware, has proven that there hasn't been a big issue, and there is a lot less money involved in that area than there is the European clubs, like you're talking about.
That being said, if Hitch has two teams playing in U.S. Open Cup and they end up lined up against each other,
hasn't he?
He has, but
moreover, didn't he just have two teams play in USL playoffs?
I believe he did. Yeah,
Matadors and
McKinney, right?
Maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, he has had that happen.
Yeah, it's McKinney and Denton. Now, Denton, he's not a majority owner. So
right, that's the difference. Is he's not even close to
two majority owner teams play each other recently.
He's not even close to majority owner in most of his teams, right? He's only got a very small stake. In
well, either way, I thought he was the main guy for Lubbock.
He might have been. Those might be the two he has a majority. McKinney is the one he has. Yep.
Fort Worth. I thought he was majority on all four of those.
It's possible. I know he's got several clubs under his belt where he's got a few.
For what it's worth, those two have played in playoff and knockout games.
And so I don't. Again, I do think he can own them, but he should not be involved in any kind of management or promotion or anything. And promotion is sketchy, but he should be involved in day-to-day management decisions of the club. Because that's where you run into possibilities where, even though they play in different leagues, again, going back to the Europe conversation that Marcus wants to talk about in a minute, but when you have the same entity or the same management group owning a team, they need to be managed separately, and because we should always prevent against even the optics of collusion.
This is FIFA, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean,
do I need to flash the middle fingers again like I did last week?
Yeah, fair enough. I think I was trying to play devil advocate, but I think we all kind of
absolutely
agree that. Right. So for now, until you run into an issue like with Club
Hitchcock,
World Cup,
I like your teams.
yeah, and Hitchcock is semi-pro, so that's a little different.
It is different, absolutely different.
That's one of them things. But normally, this would not be an issue if the world stayed as divided as it used to, right? The Indian Championship or the Indian team that the city owns is never going to play New York City. Like those two things are never going to, until you run into an issue like the Club World Cup where they might qualify to play each other, and then you might have an issue like this where a club qualifies technically, but because of ownership rules now. FIFA's a little iffy. Like they'll enforce this ownership rule, but won't enforce it on MLS, for instance. So it's one of those like caveats. But here's an instance where
look, I know we're going to talk about MLS single entity, but these club it's a single entity operation, but these clubs are still individually owned and operated franchises. Again, to use the fast food reference.
Ugh.
Not every McDonald's is owned by the same person, right? Not every McDonald's is owned by McDonald's corporate. They have different businesses. Yes, they have rules they have to run their business by. They have they have to. A Big Mac is still a Big Mac at any McDonald's you go to, but those have individual franchisee owners who operate their businesses differently.
Sure, I think I still go back to the same issue of it's still anti-competition. You're creating an artificial market to an extent.
Yeah,
it's American sports, baby.
No, it absolutely is, and I have a problem with that. Obviously, it's why I want USL to just blow up, and why I want Pro Rel to work, because it's better for competition, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's as far as we'll get to MLS here in a second, but as far as MLS goes, I think people play in too much into the owner operator deal. You buy into the league and you operate a team. So you do not own the team, you operate the team. That's why it's a different. Whenever right now they're selling is it Salt Lake? Yeah, Real Salt Lake. They're selling that along with the women's team. You're not buying the team, you're buying their portion of Major League Soccer. That includes some marketing, or is it SUM marketing, whatever that is, and then there are other entities that you're buying into, and then you operate this team. That's why you're able to do a Columbus to Austin thing, because it's just moving money around. It's not
it's
like
essentially integration is really all.
Yes, it's not like I own a McDonald's and then I'm like, well, I want to turn that McDonald's into a Burger King. Well, you can't because those companies aren't the same thing. Those two companies,
but I don't have to sell ice cream at my McDonald's, right? I don't have to have an ice cream machine, right? I don't have to do drive-through, right? I could have my McDonald's as only a walk-up with you. I know the ice cream machine never works.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Ice cream? What is that? I don't know what
that was the MLS joke right there. It was all built in.
Yeah,
that's a McFlurry.
Even then, yeah, I just think it becomes anti-competition, and I don't think there's there's people out there that will. I don't think there's many people out there who would argue that MLS wants competition.
I don't think they want competition, but I also think that
not from another league, at least.
I think a lot of what was built to protect the league from the failures of past leagues, right?
Yeah,
and maybe that might not work anymore, right? There might be a world where we can open up again, and I'm not going to have that debate, but the reason it is existing the way it exists today is to protect the league from the follies of past leagues that led to folding, that led to the Cosmos having their great run and destroying the rest of the league and everything else that went on there too, right?
I can understand how we got here. I definitely get it. But I do think MLS would be happy to be presented this way. I think they want to present themselves as what we've done to protect the sanctity of the game and soccer in general. And I think they'll claim that all that they're doing now is in the same vein, and that's just not true.
Well, here's the thing. So the argument. I agree with the argument. Their idea is that they're the saviors of the sport to save us from NASL days.
Right.
Not particularly, right? Because when they got 94, like there's a lot of revisionist history about how MLS came to
Absolutely.
be, right? When they got 94, this was a mandate. And on top, included in that mandate was that you were supposed to operate with sporting merit. The NFL owners came and saved us in '02 whenever we got down to like 4 owners for the
Yeah.
entire league and saved us. And part of them saving us was that we're never going to sporting merit. And now we are where we are. As long as everyone is truthful about what happened, I'm it, it's one of them things where like as long as we all know we're all working from the same group of facts, then we're good to go. But don't tell me, oh well, we are the only reason. Like Alexi Lawless does this a lot too, where he pretends that everything's.
Oh, is it the 55th minute already? I get to tell Alexi Lawless to suck my asshole.
Yeah. It's one of those like we like to pretend that the game started in '96, and then so we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of MLS, and apparently the sport didn't exist before then.
And but we're also celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Seattle Sounders, by the way.
Exactly, and then we're
Yeah, right.
40 years of the Whitecaps, or Portland just did some. It's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say, "Well, it didn't exist before us," but hey, these things existed before us. That's weird. That said, so what are your thoughts? I mean, Hubert, this is mostly for you here. What do you think about? I didn't know that Pachuca and Leon were the same ownership. I didn't know that was. I knew that one of the reasons Pro Rel didn't work in Liga MX is because instead of going down, some teams would just buy the lower division team that was going up, and all sorts of shenanigans that would go on. But how do you feel about this and them being penalized for that? And hopefully, this leads them into fixing that issue.
Yeah, well, right off the bat, I want to point out that I wore a legendary tiny Mexican team that got promoted for like 2 seasons. I wore their jersey today. But yeah, the Mexican game has needed to change that for a very long time. There's been plenty of outcry from fans for that to happen. Unfortunately, it's a typical problem in Mexico is you get enough money, you don't have to listen. So to
It's the
Wait,
do
American way,
anything
baby.
about
yeah,
it,
it was like
someone
that's a.
higher.
Are you saying
Well,
that's the
okay,
North
all right.
American way now? It's a
Yeah,
North
I
American
will
way.
say corruption is rampant in the US as well, but like in soccer, it's been so obvious in Mexico
Yeah.
for ages. The multi-ownership, coaches just like moving around like nobody's business. Like you want to talk about MLS coaches just having a guaranteed job. You should look at the coaches in Mexico. And part of that's the ownership groups. It's not even ownership groups, a lot of it's individuals. The fans in Mexico have been wanting that for a long time. And I just it's a corruption issue, and I think most of us are happy to see this broken up, but it needs to happen from higher up. Like, the fans aren't going to be able to do it from a grassroots level. The league doesn't have the balls to do it. The Mexican Federation is about as useless as the U.S. Soccer Federation. They want to talk a big game, but they don't have the balls to do anything about the leagues like MLS, for example, right? Like US soccer has no muscle that they're willing to flex against MLS in the same way the FMF has no muscle that they're willing to flex on the Mexican league.
I mean, we'll see about that. I think if
I'm
USL
I'm
has
happy to be proven wrong on that one.
it
I
does,
could be
no, the
wrong.
reason I say that is because I'm thinking USL is getting the federation to change a couple of
Yeah.
D1 rules, which will allow now MLS can do whatever they want. They're a closed shop, but the federation does have power to change other things about the sport that
Yeah.
will
And
allow
sure, I
competition.
guess what I mean is I feel like they haven't shown the
Yeah,
willingness to do it. Or maybe and that's why I guess I use the word the balls to do it.
yeah.
I,
I
I
like I
want
said,
them to step up and do it. And if Mexico starts actually doing this, I think you'll see an improvement in the pipeline of development. There's plenty of owners that own Mexican teams have gotten together and said, "Hey,
yeah,
our national team is suffering because of the model we have,"
yes. And
and
the
that's
second
embarrassing.
the second division is suing the federation and Liga MX in order to get back to sporting merit and
Yeah,
um
and the wild thing about that is like the Mexican model of promotion relegation was actually interesting if you've gotten into it before.
yeah,
One team got promoted and one team got relegated every season.
but
And
it was
it was not based on one season performance, which I think
yeah,
is healthier actually to do. It was based on your performance across 3 seasons. And it was based on your total points average and stuff like that, leading up to who got promoted or relegated. So you couldn't have say, championship team from England get promoted to the Premier League just because they had a stellar year and they bought a bunch of good players. I'm not saying that happens often, but you have to have been consistent in it, which means you had to have sustainable money. You had to have players that weren't just on their way out and you bought big names for a season. Like it had to be an actual model that was working. So if you got promoted in Mexico, like you kind of had to earn your way up.
One can say that that's great, but then you wouldn't have a Leicester City or
That
like
wins the league and then bombs the fuck out and becomes irrelevant immediately.
I mean, they were in the Premier League for like a decade. What do you mean bombs
They
out
were
immediately?
relevant for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, but their owner died, money kind of got dry. Like there were reasons for that, right?
Sure,
A
sure.
like
I'm just saying you can't say that that one great thing that happened justifies all the shit things that happen.
but it's not a shit thing. Leicester still exists. They will forever
Oh, no,
exist.
no,
The
sorry. What I
stadium
mean
is
is all the clubs that die as a result, or all the clubs that come up and then have to be parachuted down.
but that's the whole point. See, all right, this is why there's this protectionism of clubs that really frustrates me. It's like all these clubs that die. And I'm like, yeah, but then you get an MK Dons that comes out of that. Like if there's a city and there's a stadium that
I thought
exists,
we hate new clubs.
We
that's
hate
not
MK
true.
Dons. We definitely hate MK
No,
Dons.
that's a fact. That's a fact. We do hate MK Dons.
Right.
And like what people don't realize is a lot of these clubs that say United, the reason that they get the United is not because it's a clever name, is because a city may have died or two smaller clubs united, quote unquote, to create a
Right.
bigger club. That's how the sport's supposed to work. This idea, like, no, we need to protect people from themselves. So in order to protect them, we're going to make sure small cities stay
Mhm.
small because we like main. Because here's the thing: how many minor league baseball teams go out of business because they're just minor league baseball teams, and then when that city
All the
dies,
time.
yeah, exactly. But we never
Mhm.
talk about how we need to protect. Like, oh, we can't have the Yankees do anything. You think the Yankees would go out of business if they just didn't exist anymore? Like they're the Yankees.
No, but the
problem is
Staten Island Yankees did go belly up because
R-
they lost the Yankees indoor. They lost
You're
the
missing
pipeline
my
to the
point.
Yankees.
You're missing my point.
What's your point?
My point is that there needs to be they're more selective about the teams that go up. I still want 3 up, 3 down every year in all the leagues.
Oh,
I love that, but it needs to be not just you had a great year, let's go. It
well,
I need it to be a sustainable model that goes up. I'd rather see a team that has been built to be successful move up rather than down, and that would make the money make more sense. I still love the model and I want it to
I,
happen.
I,
And
I, yeah,
go ahead.
I'm not the one up, the 3 up and 3 down. I'm not really in love with. I think USL will. So in order,
I like the long-term promotion model, not
yeah,
the every like one season makes a difference model.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Is
that
what I'm defending.
no, I get you, but again, that's the magic is you can have one season and get promoted. Imagine you having to spend three. Because here's the thing: you're actually putting more pressure on owners to spend more money a longer period of time to get more likely to go bankrupt just to get promoted. Like I have to, I can come in as an owner. Like say I'm Wrexham right now. Wrexham has long term money, obviously. Say I'm Wrexham and I come in and I have to spend a whole bunch of money for 3 seasons. And then if I don't get promoted, guess what's going to happen? I guarantee to go
Yeah,
bankrupt.
but guess what? After 3 seasons, you've created longevity, sustainability. If
No,
you are a good owner, it's the same reason banks are willing to give loans when you actually have a real history, not just a pop-up.
all right. Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think this is why promotion and regulations never come here is because the people who don't want it don't want it, and the people who want it make excuses for why we don't have it. So we're never going to get it. So we're just going to move on from that.
But I'm
Um,
pro it.
that's what I'm saying. But you're making excuses for why we can't have it. So that's what I'm saying. It's
No, no,
one of
no.
those things.
I'm pro it,
It's
and I'm saying this we should have it, and we need to put good guidelines on it to make it more sustainable.
which means we're never going to get it because if a proponent for it has guidelines for it and someone who doesn't want it has more guidelines for it, guess what's going to happen? Nothing.
Let's
This
go
is
back
the
to our
reason we don't.
previous model of multi-club ownership then.
This is
We're talking about
why
putting guidelines on that, we're pro that there.
this no this I hate guidelines for sure. This is why we don't have high speed rail, right? The people who don't want it say it's bad, no one
Oh
will
God,
use it,
Marcus is going on a rail tangent.
right? And the reason we don't have it is because the people who want it also have. Oh, we need to worry about environmental stuff. Like so, it's like so no one really wants it in that argument, right? But that said, there's one more example, and then we're out of here. Well, actually, a quick run bout. Another downside of multi-club ownership, wow, after like a 10-minute tangent, is Crystal Palace and Leon, who have the same ownership group, and they're running into issues in UEFA, where UEFA has some financial difficulties and almost got demoted to Leon 2, and then magically their financial issues aren't that serious, and they're going to remain as a League One or League On. Sorry, my apologies, League On team which means that the other owned group in Crystal Palace gets regulated from Europa Championship League. I don't know, what is that league called? Europa League?
Conference League.
What it is?
Conference League.
Yeah, I don't know why we have 3 tiers of championship now. This
You
is the
tell
most
me, man.
ridiculous
You
thing,
tell
right?
me.
But
You want
this
to
is
talk
another.
unsustainable.
Yes.
What
Tell
is
me about
that?
it. Yeah. So this is another downside of like the same ownership, right? So one club in a different league has a penalty, and then magically it works out where the bigger club, and we can debate whether or not Crystal Palace or Lyon are the bigger club in this. I think it's Lyon, if we're being completely honest. Um, Gets the benefit of the doubt. Then Crystal Palace sues the club of the court of in the court of sports or whatever that court is to
Yeah.
get, to get reinstated. But because they're owned by the same team that got the benefit, they dropped it. So it's one of those.
This is why there needs to be walls in place so they operate as separate clubs, and FIFA has a policy for this already ready to go so that this happens, so it doesn't end up in court. We're running a little over time here, though, so we can continue this debate at the next tailgate. I think it's a good time to have this conversation.
Nah. Debate is good for the podcast. Keep it online.
All right, so I'm gonna do a quick wrap around here, or
Please.
close out here.
Take us out.
Lower league soccer is in playoff mode right now, so we are going to talk about the NPSL playoffs and USL 2 playoffs.
And tell people where to watch it.
So you for USL 2, you can either go to NBC Sports Engine. So if you go to USL2.com, they'll have the games on there. And most of these clubs have YouTube channels that you can watch it on. So the way USL2, which I'm learning, the way USL2 playoff works is that they pick a neutral site, and then all 4 of the clubs that are in that division travel to that neutral site, and all the clubs play there. So you have to bid to be a host. So that's actually
Right.
really sustainable, as we were just discussing, way to operate it. So we can talk about these. So this is Central. So all these clubs basically play at the same location. And here we go. These are the semifinalists for the conference. We have future USL1 team Fort Wayne crashing out to Flint City. I don't know how they made it with all the
2
letters,
great
but
cities.
that's fine. Then we have an offshoot of when Minneapolis was playing, the Minneapolis City SC. That was actually a great team. I've been to plenty of games there. They're in the semifinals, so they play on the 26th, and the final for the conference, I think, is the week after. And then once those 4 teams are chosen, then you have the final, and then you get a USL2 championship, and then they get promoted. Oh wait, never mind. So that's Central. Then we have out west. We have former USL1 club Tucson, or Tucson, as my wife mistakenly said once. I never let her live it down. Ballard is also another big club up there in Washington that has future, or has hopes for professional.
Really cool branding.
Yeah, some of these crests are really good, and some of them are paperclip paint joints. Then we go east. I really, one day we need to talk about Vermont Green. Like, great club, sold out their tickets. I think they said 30 minutes. They play at Vermont University, 2,500 seats, and they sell it out all season. So they're another. People are talking about them maybe going professional to USL1, but the ownership group. So the backstory behind this, if you don't know, there's actually a club in England that does this too. Is that they're very green, so their whole thing is that they can't really go professional because that
Talk
would
about Forest Green Rovers.
Forest Green Rovers. So they're like, they're very organic and all that stuff. So like going professional with them would be hard because of travel and plane and pollution or whatever. But people are talking about like this. Vermont is a state with no professional sports, so obviously a lower division soccer team I think would definitely do, as Portland, Hearts of Pine, and Maine have proven. Like if you go to these smaller states with no professional sports, I think you're good to go. So that is the Eastern Conference there, and then we have the Southern Conference. This was a hell of a. I actually stayed up late watching this. Sarasota's Paradise hosted this bottom table here. So all 4 of these teams, Laredo, Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota Springs, and Jax, are all talking about going professional. Laredo apparently just built a really nice stadium out there, so they have hopes of going up. Obviously, Jax, Sarasota Springs, and Fort Lauderdale are going professional next season, so that's all. this is a really great bracket. This will look different next year because none of these people will be there. Although a lot of USL professional teams use USL 2 as their B team, so maybe it actually will be the same table. But this is really cool. I watched this on YouTube. This was pretty awesome. So yeah, support local soccer, man,
Please.
and give this a watch
absolutely.
on YouTube channels. But one more thing before we head out of here, we gotta support our boys. Let me find it. Do I not have it? Oh my God, El Burrito is in the
El
final.
Farolito.
The Burrito Boys.
Boys.
They're in the semifinals for the NPSL. They won it in 23. They're a club. If we can find a billionaire owner to definitely, right. If you want to do your own welcome to Wrexham, that is a club you can definitely.
I don't
I'll
think
watch
he'd sell
that
it.
one.
I don't
I'll
think he'd
watch
sell
that
the
one.
team. How about that? I don't think he'd sell the team. His father
Buy the
started that
restaurant.
team.
Just buy the restaurant.
The Bear meets Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So that's it. That's the USL lower league division. NPSL, USL 2 are on their playoff run. So support local soccer. Check them out on YouTube and all that good stuff. And that's our around the grounds.
Real quick, we are the Dallas Beer Guardians at Dallas Guardians on everything, DallasBeerGuardians.com. Check us out on across social media. You can find us everywhere. Check out the FC Dallas Reddit channel. We are active and all involved there. Can't wait to see you guys Friday tailgate versus NYCFC. We'll be doing a beer exchange, have a little bit of food going. And then Saturday, we've got the North Texas SC game at Toyota Stadium. If anybody's up there, we might pregame at Derbyshire a little bit and hang out. Just hit us up. Let us know where you're going to be. We'll come check it out. Marcus, hit the line.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Guardians out.